Welcome back, my dear students. So on this lecture, we were going to create notifications for our app, but we're going to delay that a little bit because we it's better for us to start sending emails now, because later on we're going to need notification for our login feature for authentication, just in case the user is not active and they try to log in. So we need notifications for that later on. So it's better that we start emailing the user now, and then we do all of them together. We do the registration notifications, and then we do the login feature notifications later, okay, at the same time. So right now, let's start by emailing the user, by building this functionality. So this is the question: how do we email a user? Well, first of all, we have to hook it up. We have to hook this thing up here in the .env file. Okay, as you can see, we already have some configurations set up for us. We have the driver here. It's giving, basically Laravel is helping us out with pre-configuring this stuff here. But of course, we can create our own IDs here, our own variables. We can do whatever we want. We can say Google SMTP, and we put whatever Google driver we want. But of course, this is being pulled, okay, in the, let's go to config and let's go to mail. And as you can see, we're using that here with this function env mail driver. So whenever you create your custom keys here, for example, make sure that you go back and then you use this function env to use that, okay? And then you type in that name here, that custom key name here. So you will come and say custom key, and then you can pull that value anywhere you want, okay? But anyway, you should know that by now. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to be hooking into Mailtrap. Mailtrap is a service to where you are when you are in development. So basically, you can send emails to that service, and you can receive those emails. You can play around with emails before you go into production, okay? So now, if you had this in Google, of course, you would change this to the Google host, the port number for Google, the username, and the password. But we're going to be using Mailtrap, okay? So, and we're going to leave this the way it is right now. Let's go back here to mail, and this is in config, and then mail, okay? Here we have that there, but if you were using Mailgun, you put Mailgun here, or Mandrill. It's up to you, or you can even log it in if you want. You can log it, and most of these logs on Laravel. Let me show you. For those of you that don't know about this, you can get errors with Laravel, and they are located in logs, and then Laravel log right here, and you can see all the errors that we have gotten there. Okay, and then if you look at all this line here, you don't see no errors there, but if you scroll up, you can see a little space. This is where you're gonna find your errors, okay? And they will be very good sometimes, because sometimes we make mistakes, right? So it's good to come here to the Laravel log there and look at that. Okay, so this is all the defaults that we got, and let's just say that these emails are coming from Edwin and coding faculty, and let's just put my name here. Simple as that. What else we need here? That's about it. That's all I wanted to configure here, to be honest with you. There's nothing else. Let's just come back here. Now let's go to Mailtrap. Actually, I think I already have that account open. So as you can see here, you can sign up. It's free, by the way. They haven't changed that yet. So you can send up to, I don't know how many emails a day, but it's free. So right here in your SMTP settings, you're going to see your username here. So you're going to use that. Use your own. I'm going to reset mine, okay? So don't be using mine, please. Thank you. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to paste that in there. Okay. And I'm going to get my password. Simple as that. Okay. Now we will be able to send emails. As simple as that. Watch later on how this works. But anyway, so here's where we got to send an email. So how do we send emails? Well, now that we have hooked into a email service provider, right, or email provider, we have to create a class. Well, Laravel offers us this new thing where you can create a class and keep everything separate. Not like it used to be before. It was kind of complicated, but now we can come to the command line here and say PHP artisan make mail, and now we can create whatever mail we want, right? So this mail or email that we are mail class that we're going to create, we have to give it a name. So I'm going to call this activation email. Simple as that. Okay, enter. And now if you go to app, you can see this new folder created here, and this is going to have all your mail or your mail class. Okay, you're going to have a constructor which is going to accept, okay, some type of value here. You're going to see in a minute. And then once you put that value here in the constructor, you're going to make it available in your view where your real email, your email HTML attached is going. And we're going to create that right now, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to go to resources. In views, I want to create a folder called emails. And here I want to call this user underscore activation. Okay, simple as that. Enter. And the reason why I was able to not put an extension there is because if you notice, when I right click, I have this view setting already on my editor. So make sure that all your files are .blade.php. Okay, this setting here is something that comes from PHP Storm, by the way. You can set this up. Let me see if I remember where it is. Actually, I remember like this. If I right click and then I go to edit file templates, so it's in file, edit file templates. Here I can add a new one if I want to. Let's see. There we go. You see, you click on the plus symbol and then you give it a name and the extension that you want. And every time you create, you right click on this, you're gonna have it available here. Okay, so I created one for view components, and I created one for blades components. That's what I meant when I say not blades but view. Sorry about that. I know I said view, is blade. Okay, so now that we have hooked this in, and that we have a class as well, let's go to that class. And now here we're going to be receiving a value. And let me tell you why we're going to be getting a value here, because we're going to be using that class right here when we mail. Okay, so let's use this mail class here, and we're going to say we're going to mail this to, and we're going to mail this to the user, and then we're going to send an email. Okay, and here we're going to instantiate that class that we just created. It's called activation email, as simple as that. And that's why here this email is going to get a value in the constructor. You see, so when we pass this value here, we're going to automatically get it here in the constructor. So what do we want to pass here? Well, we want to pass we can pass the user, or we can pass the code that we're creating. Let's just do this, and then here we'll pass that in, as simple as that. Make sure that you include this on top. Okay, so now we are using that here. Beautiful. And now here all we have to do is receive that, as simple as that. Okay, or you can type in this and say I'm going to be receiving a activation code. Activation code, just as this. There we go. And my editor, sometimes when I'm doing this and injecting classes here, my editor is helping me by importing this on top. Okay, guys? So always remember that when you get some type of error saying something like class not found, make sure that you are including yours on top. I'm gonna try to keep this up and tell you when you have to include it on top. But keep in mind that my editor sometimes when I'm typing and press enter, it will put it on top for me, okay? So once we have this value here, the goal of this is to make it available here as well. So we can create a public property here, and we're going to assign whatever value comes from the constructor to this public property. So we're going to say this code into this. Okay, so we are assigning that's coming in into our property that we're creating up here. And now we have this available automatically here. We don't have to do anything else. Now we have to actually give it a right view name. So we're going to say, well, this is in emails, and user activation was the name that we gave that blade file, right? That's right here. Email is a folder, and the user activation is the name of that blade file. Make sure you save it. Make sure you include all the classes that you need to include. And let's check this out, okay? So right now, we should be mailing the user. Let's put this. Let's see, we don't need this class here anymore. And let's just put something here. Hi, your account. Hi, please click the link to activate your account. Okay, simple as that. And then we come here and let's see if this is working. So let's check it out real quick, make sure that everything is working. If not, we'll fix it, but we are going to be registering. Let's see if we have anything on the database. If we do, we're going to take it out. So let's take this guy out, and we don't have a code. Let's register. Okay, enter. And you can see that it's taking a while. It was taking a while, so it was doing something. So if I come here, you can see that we emailed that user. Hi, please click the link to activate your account. Okay, so the next step would be to actually create that link. Let's go back here, and we need to go to that view and create the link so they can click on it, right? So we need to make sure that that's the link there, and we're gonna say, well, we need actually a route that we don't have. Let me see if we have that route. Let's come back here and let's just say web. Sorry about that. That happens when you create multiple when you do the make auth a couple times, just like I did before. Not with you guys, in my own time. All right, so this is the place where we need to take our users when they click. So we need to make a name here for this route. So let's give it a name. Let's just say this is going to be user activate or activation. Okay, and if we go here, make sure that that's the right one. So here, actually, this needs to be blade, and then route, the name of that, and then here we're gonna get the code. As simple as that. And let's grab the whole thing again and paste it there. So hope you see what I'm doing. That should be it. There shouldn't be anything else. Let's check it again. Let's make sure we delete this. We can create another user, of course, but that gets deleted too. Let's come here, and you're gonna see how long it takes, because I'm planning to implement maybe a queuing functionality because sometimes, let's say you have 1,000 users and they keep registering, you're gonna see this takes a while. We don't want the user to be taking a while, so we might include like a queue functionality. You see that it's taking a while. Come back here, and as you can see now, they have been, we have included a link here. Now let's go here real quick and let's make sure that our activation, that's good, that's great. And well, we don't even have this controller yet. So why don't we do that on the next lecture? Let's create a controller, let's start creating the methods, or maybe we can create a queue service. All right, so on the next lecture, you know what, let's create that queue functionality, so that way we don't have to make the user wait so long for an email. So let's do that. I see you in the next lecture.